Now it's working. Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right. Just again for the record, if you are here for case, from agenda items 6 through 16, all of those that are on the consent agenda have been passed by this commission, and so you're welcome to stay. But if you need to leave, you're welcome to do so as well. If you're here only on those items between agenda items 6 and 16, we'll now move to our public hearing cases, and our first case is case number D-1-17. It's a dedication. Is there anybody here to speak in favor of this? Would you please, for the record, state your name and address?
My name is Bob Basinger. I'm with Fort and Tablata, 920 Piermont Road, Suite 520, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71106.
Welcome.
Thank you. We're wanting to dedicate right away to the public for road improvements. We've met with the city engineer's office, and they're actually going to improve the road. And so, are there any questions?
Questions on it? No questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who's here to speak in favor of this application? All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? All right, seeing none.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion by Ms. DeMarteau, a second by Ms. Smith. There are no questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I will
Mr. Young?
recuse from this vote due to I am a member of that church.
Okay. All in favor vote yes, all opposed no, with one recusal. This item passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Our next case is case number SC-25-17 for preliminary and final plat. Is there someone here to speak in favor of this application?
Andy Craig, Moore & Associates, 1324 North Hearn, Suite 301. I'm here to represent the owner on this development if y'all have any questions. It's a lot, commercial subdivision, basically at Linwood and Burt Coons, right next to the new Walmart neighborhood market and Thrifty Liquor Store. And I will tell you that it has been tied up in some wetlands issues. You probably won't see any construction or anything going out here for a while. The Corps has approved the wetlands permit, but they're still working on the mitigation. That's still got to get worked out, so we're not going to start tomorrow or anything. We still got that to be done. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
All right. Any questions? Mr. James?
I just want to make sure you're very well aware of the limitations on the access to the lots that front along Burt Coons and.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct.
That was in the staff report. I just wanted to make sure that board knew that they were very well.
Yeah,
aware.
you'll see the notice. We have the one access there between lots 3 and 4, and the rest of them will be accessed from behind. That's connected to the drive behind Thrifty Liquor that goes into Walmart. Then.
All right, thank you. Are there any other persons who are here to speak in favor of this application? Any persons here to speak in opposition to this application? All right, seeing none.
Mr. Chair, motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young, a second by Ms. Smith for approval. All in favor vote yes, all opposed no. Thank you, it passes unanimously. The next case is case number P-2-17. It's a zoning request and preliminary site plan. There's someone here to speak in favor of this application?
My name's Mike and Holbrook. I work with Coil Engineering. I work with the developer. We're at 3925 Benton Road in Bossier City.
My name is Michael Bowman. I'm a land surveyor. John R. Bowman and Associates, 3833 Southern Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71106. 8659540.
Thank you.
This is just a residential subdivision, 37 lots. It was part of the original master plan, and we're just here to answer any questions that anyone may have.
All right. Questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Young?
Yes,
That's all right.
it's hard. I'm going to learn to put that request to speak. I'm sorry. There are some site considerations in that is this one attached to the per approval, or is the other one per approval to the parish on the?
This case would require a recommendation from this board
Uh-huh.
that would have to be a final decision made by the parish commission.
And y'all are aware of that?
Yes, we're actually trying, we're in the process of talking to the city about annexing this, but yes, if it doesn't get annexed, yes, we are aware it'll have to go to the parish also.
Just want to make sure you're aware of that.
Yes, sir,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Anything else for them? Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who's here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? Or are those who wish to speak in opposition to this application?
My name is D. Wesley Attaway. I'm here in my capacity as the president of the Lakeside on Long Lake HOA, which is directly concerned with this new development.
Mr. Attaway, before you go forward, could you, for the record, just state your address as well?
1138 Waters Edge Circle.
Thank you.
Accompanying me is Mark Snow, also one of our board members who will speak, at least I'll ask him to speak in just a few minutes. We're not unalterably opposed to this development. There are many good features of the development, but we do have several concerns, mainly relating to city utilities and the sewer systems, and whether they will be adequate to handle the increased load. One other thing that I might mention before I turn this over to Mr. Snow is that the notice that was sent out to our homeowners incorrectly identified our HOA as the Long Lake HOA, and that's an incorrect designation. Our HOA is the Lakeside on Long Lake HOA, which is a completely different HOA. In fact, we're on the opposite side of the lake from the Long Lake subdivision. So I just want to note that for the record. At this time, I think I will, with your permission, turn this over to Mr. Mark Snow.
Sure.
Hello, my name is Mark William Snow. I live at 1037 Abbey Glen Lane, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71106. As Wes was saying, we're not speaking against this. We know the engineering firm that's doing the work and the land surveyors. They're very good, high-quality firms. We have a lot of confidence to them. We know the developer is a high-quality developer. We're not worried about that at all. What we, as a board, we had questions from our residents in the subdivision, and we couldn't answer them. And so what we were using this opportunity as a time, because we didn't meet with them until Wes met with the group a couple hours before this meeting, but we didn't have time to address some concerns, and so wanted to bring them up in this forum. One of the, I guess the concerns we have is the existing Lakeside on Long Lake development. We use a series of sanitary sewer gravity mains and lift stations to take that to the City of Shreveport treatment system. One of ours, which we call, I guess it's at the boat launch, It's had some issues concerning the capacity, the design capacity of it. It was designed, according to talking to the city engineering's office, Patrick Furlong, it was designed to handle full build-out as developed previously. And that lift station hasn't really met it. It's had troubles, and the city's been working with it to handle it. But the concern we have as far as sanitary sewer is with this system coming online, we're going to overtax that lift station. We know that I've heard that the engineering firm, Cole Engineering, is working with the city. We just want to make sure that that gets taken care of before everything moves forward and we start getting uncontrolled, SSOs, things like that. We just want to bring that question up. We want to put on record. We know that Cole Engineering is trying to work with the city on that. What I'm imagining what's going to have to happen would be possibly looking at the pumps, changing out the pumps to handle if it's overloading the system. We may have to adjust the pump systems, that kind of thing. Second thing I'd like for them to look at is this system will dump. I'm going to lose time. Okay. This system will tie into a existing lift station that ties down at what we call the bottom of Abbey Glen. I just would ask the engineering firm to double check that. I know they will, but I just want to go on record to say, have them double check that, because that gravity feeds, that pumps up to the top of the hill, and the gravity feeds into a sewer main that ties into the lift station I was just talking about. The reason why I'm right there at that manhole, my house is right there at that manhole, want to make sure that everything's tip-top shape on that. Second thing I want on record is that I want them to analyze the water main that runs along down Abbey Glen. What we have is a long string water line that's kind of a end-of-line water line. The original development that was...
Yeah. May I make a motion to extend him a bit more time to conclude this list of questions he had? Yeah, okay, what I was going to do is ask maybe if, the time may be interrupted, if the staff could answer the question as it goes, and that may give us what we need in that conversation. So,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm queued up, if you don't mind.
Okay. Good.
I can ask him the question about the water line and my two questions. Can you finish on your point on the water line, and I've got a couple of questions.
I would just ask them to look at it, the water line system, and Cole Engineering did the original subdivisions. They know this. I actually reviewed it when they did it, so I think they did a good job. The water line that they'll be tying into was initially designed to be a loop system that goes around Abbey Glen. Then we're going to have a loop system that tied back in on itself. This one right here will be a continuation. It'll be a dead-end line. So I would just ask them to look at that, make sure we don't have capacity issues. It's going to affect the people on that line. It'll affect their subdivision even more. I know it's their concern. I just ask them to look at that and whether we need to upgrade, have another tie to Ellerby Road to give us when I say a loop system, it gives you two ways for water to come.
We got it. Pressure issue. We'll look at that real quick. How about we have the printout of it. It's 30 acres and 37 lots. Do you personally and the homeowners know the lot size and the minimum home size? Do y'all know those data?
I'm not aware of that. I'm looking at the lot size. I did check it out beforehand. It looks like it's okay. What we would ask is that, and I think this is the case, that they would, I understand they want to join our HOA, so we'd ask them to join our covenants onto theirs. And that was one of the questions I have, and I'm sure they'll be able to answer that. And I have something else, but you'll have to ask me a question.
I know. How about the ingress and egress? Is there plans for a second gate for this park? Have you heard that or not?
Looking at the configuration, I don't see that happening at this time. Did you ask me about a temporary one, though?
That's all I have.
All right, well, look, I'm going to defer back to the staff on the first question you asked, and you may want to reiterate the question, the first concern you had, and they can answer
just
that.
The first question would be, the what measures are going to be taking place with the city engineering office to upgrade the existing waste treatment, the collection systems as needed to accommodate for this development.
Okay. First, in response to that, we haven't received any comments. Of course, not being in the city limits, they weren't responsible for this particular project or giving us feedback. We didn't receive anything from the Parish Public Works Department on this. But I believe, as within any situation where we know there might be an issue, that I would in turn say to the board that if it is an issue, that it could be tacked on as a stipulation that if this property is to be developed and brought into the city limits and annexed, that one of the stipulations they could tag on there is that that type of system is approved by city engineering prior to any development occurring on this project.
And I want to clarify something. The city infrastructure they'll be tying into will be the city of Shreveport?
Yes.
So they will be responsible,
That's correct.
not the parish. It'll be the city.
But this is where we're in limbo, because if it's in the parish and then eventually becomes part of the city, then the city is going to look at it from their perspective, and you're absolutely correct.
They'll actually look at it now because we're tying, but, okay, I don't want to comment.
Right.
Okay.
In fact, as they pursue the concept of annexation, the city will be required to look at it under a fine-tooth process, so to speak.
Mr. Young,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Snow, I too live in this subdivision.
Okay, did not know
And,
that.
yes, and I'm excited about the development. I was curious a couple of things. Did you know that there was already an approved expansion parallel road to Abbey Glen?
That's what I'm talking about. That was done under another, well,
We just heard that case 6 months ago, maybe? The road that paralleled Abbey Glen. It was done the same time as the extension to the neighborhood that's on the north side.
is that done by James Young Development? Or was it done by ILO?
I think it was Aiello. I think both those cases were Aiello.
The ILO one, right. Well, I understood he was looking at that. It's my understanding he's not pursuing that at this time. But that's the road, that was the road I was talking about.
Yeah, well, there is a side road branch off on this plat. I'm assuming that is the intent to tie it to the road that runs parallel, but that's an assumption.
I'm not sure at that because if you looked at the configuration of where that, what you're talking about, is this would have to curve back and tie into it. I'm not
Correct, it would
saying
have to
would-
turn back north before it could tie into the parallel road.
Right. My impression that wasn't the intent, but that could be one of the, that could occur.
All right, you may be able to answer this, and then I'll ask them as well when they come back up for rebuttal. The sewer lift stations, all the ones, even the ones that are on the main peninsula point of the lake that's out there, they all end up down at the boat launch lift station,
That's my understanding.
and then they pump out to Ellerby Road, to Ellerby Road, and then
Yeah, somewhere up
somewhere
the
else.
system.
And so, okay, I didn't realize that they all pumped to one location, and that's where they went, was that one
And
location. Although I will
Coolidge
tell
can
you, I've seen
clarify
that
that.
lift station being worked on at 2 o'clock in the morning before.
Right. What my understanding is the existing pump system really, it doesn't hold the capacity of what it's supposed to do now. The city uses temporary, they bring in pumps to run the station. Pool engineering can answer that question a lot better than I. But yes, that system is not really running up to full capacity right now. And that's one of my concerns that'll get addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Snow.
Ms. Smith?
Yes. Mr. Sweeney, I heard them say that they only, a few hours ago, they met with some of the homeowners. Did the notification go out from the office to let them know?
It did go out. Unfortunately, those letters arrived somewhat late. It didn't get to them until Saturday, I believe.
Okay,
And that was just a glitch that the letters didn't go out soon enough.
okay. And I was just concerned why they never met with the homeowners.
And I'll let, they can speak to, they did invite, and Wes can speak to, they did invite Wes, who's our president, and another member to a meeting today. It's just that it was right before the meeting. We were getting questions beforehand. We started doing investigation because usually I'm on that side, and I'm the one that's sometimes late, and so I understand how it happens because you're doing a million things. Once again, we're bringing up questions. It's not necessarily we're against it. It would be okay for us to have the stipulations added for the approval, or we delay a month and do that, just so we can so we have answers come back to our residents and what to do. And because I live there, I want to make sure it gets addressed. And I think it will be. I just can't just assume anything. I do have one or two other concerns. I don't know how to get that across to you because I don't have more time.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
What are those concerns?
One thing I would like to do, one thing that we do have trouble with our subdivision during construction period, two items, erosion control issues. We've actually had a big project to take a lot of the silt that had washed through the drainage system into the lagoons. We would just want, I understand that the development has already, during the clearing process, put up silt fencing. We want to make sure that's continued to done. In fact, I think they've done two levels of it. Mr. Myatt, who's adjacent to this, was involved in that project. I'm sure he's just as concerned as we are. But what we really want is a stipulation that the builders that are building on the lots have to put the measures in place, because that's where we see the most of the, when it goes lax, is the builders don't follow the same thing the developers do. And so we want to make sure that gets done, because we don't want to have to spend another $1 million to get all that stuff out. And then the other thing I would like to ask is, one thing that would be convenient for this is during construction, instead of having construction traffic come through our subdivision, there is a possibility of a construction road from another entranceway off of Mr. Myatt's property. I would just ask that they consider using that. That would keep a lot of construction traffic out of our subdivision from tearing up the paving. And so that's another thing we wanted them to look at, is having construction entrance not coming through the subdivision, but there's some places on other property that could have them come through that. I think that was, once again, I want to say is we feel like it's going to be a quality development. We're not against it. We just want to, as the board members for the HOA, we need to bring up these concerns at this point.
Mr. Young?
Thank you, Mr. Snow, and for all you do, and I appreciate the applicants and their investment in the city's report as well. I'm all for development and good quality development, and if we have some inequities to the pump stations, and we just need to get those addressed, and so we can do it. The other question is, and then you're well aware of the major house fire we had in the subdivision a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And I didn't know if there was any water pressure issues. I know we had, Ronnie can probably address how many actual units were out there. It was a boatload of units out there. I was 15 units, 18 units were out there for that one fire. And I didn't know if there was any water pressure issues. I'll tell you, I was at home and was oblivious to the fire. So,
I live on that street. I was there. It appeared that there was adequate pressure. They actually had a ladder truck. I've got a picture of it. It seemed like everything was fine, and I don't see having concern about the fire pressure at that time.
And I want to concur with you about the silting issue, because we actually live on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Did not realize how shallow that lake was until they drained that lake.
Right.
And the HOA, through the gracious givings of a third party that owns, I think, most of the lake bed, did a lot of the dredging. Unfortunately, it wasn't behind my house, and I got to pay almost $20,000 to have mine dug out. So I
understand.
I understand the silting issue very well.
Yeah. So once again, we're not against development either. And if we have to get it, if it's going to be developed, we feel like this is a good quality crew. Just either put the stipulations that we talked about, or let's delay them a month and work it out beforehand. Either two would be okay with us.
All right, Mr. Remedies?
Yeah, so your concerns are the lift station, the water main, but am I wrong? The city won't allow them the building permits until all of that is addressed to their satisfaction, correct?
That is true. It's just that if you do go ahead and stipulate the three things that he's brought up, it kind of ensures that the pathway and the message gets delivered.
Okay, easy enough. Thank you very much. And then the erosion control measures, and I agree with you, I see that happen a lot. Is that not in your covenants now?
That's actually not in our covenants. We may have added them because of that, but they are in the city of Shreveport's area, and it's in the development, EPA and DEQ. Once again, I'm not so worried about the developer, but the developer has control over who they sell the lots to and putting that stipulation into it. And we can add it as a HOA if we haven't, Wes. I don't remember if we did to strengthen that. I believe we did.
Well, and that was my comment, was just that, that may be something that would be best done through the HOA to adopt those covenants, much like you see in Southern Trace and some of the other communities where they can have a limited number of vehicles parked at the location when they're building. So that's something that if we're going to attach the covenants for that subdivision to this this new development, that you guys could take that on and
Sure.
it's a lot easier to be enforceable and maybe police it if you get complaints from that.
And we do. Our people are very diligent.
We just try to not be too overreaching here.
Got it.
And we have enough on, responsibility. Okay.
And then I would ask the developer just to discuss the possibility of the construction road or not. 'Cause that would alleviate a lot of problems to the subdivision.
Okay, well, you get into the discussion about curb cuts and where they can turn off of, and that's just,
Yeah.
it's hard for us to say that, and then the city says that you don't have a curb cut, so you can't approve am I right, a road, a temporary road when no one else is allowed to do that. So just, I agree with what you're saying, and maybe, again, that's what I was hinting at, was some of the traffic concerns could be addressed within the covenants of the neighborhood. When you purchase a lot to construct a home, you're only allowed so many vehicles. That keeps 15 framers from driving in your neighborhood. They have to carpool into 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the case.
Okay. Or a construction roadway on the developer's property could occur as well.
That's it, thank you.
All right? Thank you.
Wes, do you have any more comment?
My only comments are just really to agree with what Mark Snow just said, and we aren't unalterably opposed to this project. We did get squeezed quite a bit because of the late notice that we got. We've had virtually no time to really consider all of these questions that are brought up. But we're not concerned about the developer, and we're not concerned about him adopting our covenants. Those things are not the problems, really. The construction entrance is a problem, and some of the other things that Mark Snow talked about are problems. But we would like a delay on this.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else here to speak in opposition of this? Anybody else to speak in opposition?
Go on.
Yeah, I'm Gabe Kate at 7457 Camelback. I'm actually a lot owner of Lot 33, considering building in the lakeside of Long Lake. Just wanted to confer that I only received notice of this development effort on Saturday. I think all the comments that have been raised today are legitimate. We're mainly concerned about the quality of the lake. That's the reason we went and bought the lot out there and intend to spend, fairly good amount of money building a house out there. And we also participated in paying for the dredging. So we really don't want to do that again. We just did it. So anything you can do to help protect against that, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to give the applicant an opportunity for any rebuttal.
I just wanted to, I have actually had conversations with Patrick Furlong with the city engineering. We've been talking about this subdivision since end of October, beginning of November. And I've been showing him our development and talking to him about if the city is going to require any kind of improvements to the lift station that he was referring to at the boat launch. Patrick hasn't figured that out yet. He said that they were actually, I think they might have been working on that lift station Monday because, like they said, they're having some problems with it today. Patrick said he was going to get with Robert Westerman and Barbara Featherston and then get back with us and let us know if there's going to be any requirements for an upgrade on that lift station. So we are working with the city. We had some flow tests done on the fire hydrants in the subdivision, and we submitted that to the city also. And Matt Redmond with the city, and they had said that the flow tests look okay, and this city engineering is okay with us extending the water line. They've looked at the flow test, and because we were wanting to make sure we did have enough capacity to extend the water line for this subdivision. So we have discussed that with the city also. There won't be another gate for this unit. I know you had asked about that. The sediment for the construction of the project, we're definitely taking measures to handle the sediment. I'm actually trying to talk to a couple of companies about things we can put down in the drainage inlets to try to catch sediment once the underground storm drain's installed. That way, if, they're still out there working on the lots and you get a big rain, I wanted to make sure we had something in the inlets to keep dirt and mud from going into the lake. So I'm working on that right now. The construction traffic for the construction of the road and the water and sewer, it will actually be coming through Mr. Myatt's property off of Ellerby Road. He has an existing gravel road that comes off of Ellerby Road, and he said that's where he wants the construction traffic to go. Now, once the streets and water and sewer and everything's built and the plat's recorded, then I believe he's not going, I think he's not going to let like the house builders use that road, because the house, as far as house construction, there's no telling how long it would take for all that to happen. And this particular road goes really close to his residence and another residence that's right through there. So it's a private road, but they are going to keep the heavy construction traffic off for like the dirt work and the streets and, the majority of the traffic. That'll be coming through his property. I think I addressed everything that they had a concern about. So hopefully y'all can put a stipulation in there like that, like you were referring to. I mean, I know that city engineering is not going to approve this subdivision unless, their current utility system can handle it, and we are in the process of working with them. So if y'all have any other questions or comments, I can.
Any other questions? Oh, Mr. Young?
Your first name again?
Mikan.
Mikan. Thank you,
Yes,
Ms.
sir.
Mikan. A couple of things they had mentioned. The homeowners association, did y'all intended to have that become part of the neighborhood itself as well? Then when y'all get it annexed into the city?
Yes, I believe. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Sir, sorry. I was looking at Miss Lisa back there.
And you answered the question about the construction road, and I think the preliminary clearing, y'all been doing all that through Mr. Mike's property anyway. I
Yes,
believe
sir,
I could
yeah.
tell that, and so I appreciate that. And the addressing the potential sewer lift station. The only other question I had was I think about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter, we approved the lots behind Abbey Glen running parallel to Mr. Aiello. Is there a tie-in to Silver Point Circle to that?
No,
Or is this going to be totally different build-out?
And Mr. Aiello, we were working with Mr. Aiello on that particular unit. He decided that he's not going to go forward with that unit.
Okay, so you're envisioning something else going up Silver Point Circle?
Yes, sir, that little stub out, and of course, I forgot to bring the master plan. I
Okay.
know we gave it to the MPC office, I'm pretty sure we did. But that's just gonna be a small cul-de-sac with maybe,
7, 8, 9 different homes on it?
Yeah.
That's fine. I just was trying to figure out how that would ever potentially tie in, but.
Right.
So eventually the final build-out, and that will be the final build-out in this area evidently, because there's nowhere else to go,
Right,
will be another 6 or 7 houses that tied to this, and that's it.
right.
And I think the homeowners association people probably would have, that's good. That's good to know that, because then they know, everybody knows the final load capacity on that end of it, so.
Right.
Which doesn't answer the question about having a loop on the water line. Because if
Yes.
you'd have had the second road behind Abbey Glen parallel coming down, you would have had a loop system.
Well, I don't know that we were even planning on doing a loop system then, because that Abbey Glen was just a circle, unless the city was gonna require that. We never got that far with that parallel road, so the city may
That's
have.
right, because the perpendicular road that ran, or parallel road.
Was
that ran,
actually
never-
as a
it never
cul-de-sac.
tied in down there at the
Mhm, it
sewer,
was-
that lower sewer lift
Exactly.
station. Okay.
Right.
That's
But
all.
again, I mean, we'll be working with the city closely, so they'll, be looking at that and let us know if we need to do some kind of loop out or something like that.
That's all I had, thank you.
Okay.
All right. What's your pleasure? Mr. Remedies?
I believe that the developer has put forth every good faith effort to comply, be good neighbors, and responsibly develop this property. I see the concerns of the homeowners association. I believe that with the erosion control, the traffic, and some of these others that were not going to be regulated by the maybe the city, maybe the erosion control is, that if the concerns that I think a lot of us agree that they have are valid, could be policed and, enforced by complaints, so, to the city or to the regulating agency. So I believe that this would be a good development as requested, and the staff, I believe, recommended approval. I'd like to make a motion to approve with the stipulation that they would, which is redundant, that they would, the city would sign off on the lift station and all of the utilities for that area.
I'd like to make a comment. As a part of the STIPs.
Got a second, Mr. Andrews?
My concern was, which STIP did you add to it? I didn't.
I'm sorry, that the city signed off on the lift station and the water main, which it sounds like they have to anyway, but we were stipulating just to, as Mr. Sweeney said, send the message and be clear of what our expectations were, and to have the homeowners have peace of mind in there that would be addressed before the construction started.
It works. I guess my concern was, she addressed the business of erosion control and traffic, construction traffic.
And there are strict guidelines in place for that, but it takes, if someone sees that and they see that the lake is filling up with sediment, it's making the complaints to the proper agencies and having the person held responsible for that. So if they cause a lot of damage to that lake where it has to be dredged again, whoever caused the problem can be held accountable. But as it's happening, you must make the complaint at that time so they can catch the culprit and hold them responsible for that.
I was just trying to decide if I wanted to encourage you to add erosion control to the STIP. But if you think that's already in the books.
Yes, sir. I promise you, it is in the books.
I'm
and it's-
comfortable with it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. I have a motion by Mr. Remedies, a second by Ms. Damar to accept the application with the STIP of lift station and utilities by the city being monitored as well.
That's added to the other stipulations.
The current stipulation that already exists. If there are no other questions, all in favor vote yes, opposed no. Right, this passes unanimously. Thank you. Our next case is case number SP 33-17, final plat. Is there someone here to speak in favor of this application? Yes, sir.
Michael Bowman and John R. Bowman and Associates,
Address?
3833 Southern Avenue, Shreveport, 71106.
You the,
Mike and Holbrook with Coyle Engineering, 3925 Benton Road, Bossier City, Louisiana.
all right.
Basically the same thing that we were just talking about, really. So if y'all have any more questions, we can try to answer them.
It's for the final plat. Any questions from any board members? Hear none? I'm sorry.
Mr. Sweeney, is this the one we needed to make sure is subject to this parish being approved?
Yeah. If you look at the staff recommendation, it just cross-references to the zoning case that you just recommended for approval that says this plat is only valid if the parish commission approves the zoning case and the preliminary site plan. So if you approve this with that stipulation, you're in good shape. It all connects together. So if for some reason the parish didn't approve the zoning and the preliminary site plan, their plat goes away.
Very good. All right. Thank you. Are there any other persons here to speak in favor of this application? Anybody here to speak in opposition?
Once again, Mark Snow, 1037 Abbey Glen, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71006. Once again, I'm not speaking against it. What I understand is that this is the subdivision plat. This is where you would attach the covenants for the subdivision. I would just like to ask the developer if he's going to be using the HOA's covenants to attach the lakeside on Long Lake covenants to this plat. And that stipulation wasn't shown in anything before, so I just wanted to bring that up. And also, the reason why I wanted to stipulate the erosion control measures is because of we were very understaffed in the city for that purpose. We as HOA will really take it on, but That's why we were putting a little more duress on it, because the city has one inspector for that duty, but we'll be watching the whole time. But I want to just make sure if we are going to use it, covenants, that it be attached to the subdivision plat.
Jim, question. Mark, yeah, question. Mr. Andrews?
I guess my question is more to staff. Are we in a position to be able to require this development to honor the HOA?
What we usually have required is that whenever a development comes through of this nature, we usually ask for the HOA documentation to make certain that that's included as part of their application packet. I cannot say that we actually enforce HOA regulations. That's not within our purview. But what we do typically ask for is that in a development of this type, we will ask for a copy and a documentation to be a part of the file. That's kind of as far as we can go.
And really, ours is not very onerous, and I think we'll get that to you. We'll get that document to you. Really, the biggest thing is I wanted to let them know is there is a design review for the house, for the house layout and just configuration of the house. That's probably the most onerous thing in it. The rest of it's pretty standard. But I'll get with Wes, and we will get that information to the developer. He may already have it. I just want to make sure that we didn't just slide by. I know, like I said, we trust them. They're good guys. I just am trying to, I've been around. I just want to make sure we don't let something lapse that I should have brought up and done something.
Gotcha. I totally understand.
Another question. Mark, you may want to.
Well, I just, that was, my question is kind of on the back of what Mr. Andrews said was, surely there's something in place where if you extend a street in a existing subdivision and you use their gates for access, that you couldn't go to the end of it and put up modular homes or something like that. Is, from y'all's experience, is there something that if you're building onto the end of that subdivision, which by using what they've already done, you're attracting a certain buyer for that subdivision, increasing the cost of your lot, for the sale of your lot. Isn't that already in place? I mean, I understand his concern because they have a lot of money invested in their home, and could someone come and build a 1,400 square foot house at the end of the street, get all of the benefits, but provide none of the value?
And I understand that, and we have to be very careful when it comes to zoning to not be what they call exclusionary zoning, based on income capabilities. So in other words, you can't have minimum house sizes through zoning regulations.
Okay.
The laws and the courts knock that out every time.
Mm-hmm.
But what we can ask for, and the only thing we do is say, in this case, why would an HOA be necessary? The purpose of the HOA is to maintain the amenities that are provided by the development. What is the amenity? It's the lake. Okay? So therefore, it makes sense to say, when you submit this subdivision plat, you should give us a copy of your HOA documentation showing that your development is a part of that HOA. But as far as enforcing the rules and regulations of that HOA, we don't have the power to do that.
Now, I understand that
Right.
that would have to be done through the courts.
That's correct.
Yeah, but I guess you kind of indirectly answered the question. That we have, even if we attached it, we have no, they would have to fight them in court
That is
anyway.
correct.
And have an assessment put on their
That is correct.
home, that they would have to clear it before they sold. Okay.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
Thank you. Mr. Young?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only other consideration I have would be, in lieu of the homeowners association, is there are benefits that come by being part of it, and one of them is it's not just gated, it's actually guarded at night as well. And so that's part of the fees that comes from being in the homeowner association and paying your homeowners dues, pays for those increased security benefits and those type of things. And so that's part of the reason I'm sure that the board would like to make sure that they're inclusive in that, so that you enjoy the benefit of having the guard and the gate. You also get the benefit of paying for the guard and the gate. So,
Mr. Ramirez?
Okay, my question would be, can we ask the applicant a question?
he gets a rebuttal. Since there was somebody against it.
Rebuttal, okay. Well, what I wanted to ask the applicant was, would they agree to now adopt the home? Just from talking to or looking at what they've done so far, I don't think they're going to be opposed to that, but I just wanted to, that makes it a lot more simple than imposing it if they adopt that.
If you would, the applicant, if you would, I don't know if they're in a position to answer, but you certainly can ask them.
Well, I'm going to let him speak on this. He's working with Mr. Maya. Is that right, that you're working with Mr. Maya on the covenant? Is that right? I don't want to misspeak. He's a little more involved in the covenant. So.
My name is Frank Dodson, 333 Texas Street, Suite 1700. There are, of course, going to be covenants, conditions, and restrictions in this new development, and they are going to be at least as restrictive as the ones that are in the Lakeside on Long Lake subdivision restrictions. I don't want to be, those are still under discussion with Mr. Mike, and I don't want to be bound to any particular set of restrictions that Lakeside may have. The ones that will be finalized are going to be acceptable to those folks, but I don't want to be confined to what they already have in place.
Would you be agreeable to, would you go on the record saying they will be at least as restrictive and we can move on?
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Young?
Mr. Dotson? Mr. Dotson?
Mr. Dodson?
I think the only other question would be probably from the perspective, and they don't get the opportunity to come back up and speak again, so I have to ask it, is, and I would ask if this was Southern Trace or wherever, you're attaching, Mr. Myatt owns this property, correct? Is that a fair assumption?
Well, he's the principal, yes.
Yes, he's principal owner, okay. I'm assuming there's no objections in the sense of at least joining the homeowner association, these individual lot owners joining the homeowner association and paying dues for the services that are rendered by being part of the neighborhood.
Well, it's not clear whether they're going to join the Lakeside Homeowners Association yet. It may be that it's a complete standalone subdivision, that the Mr. Mice development will have its own homeowners association.
I'm sure you can understand the concerns of the other homeowners in there that are paying for the amenities of the front gate and what the access control and everything else. And they're wanting to know, I'm sure their questions would be, would they enjoy the benefits without paying for the cost of living associated with it? You follow where I'm going?
Well, if they don't pay for the amenities, such as the boat dock, the boat launch that's on the Lakeside property, then the owners in this new development will not have the right to use it.
But the gate itself and the guard at the gate are...
Those were reserved by, the right to use those were reserved by our vendor and the sale of the property to us. So, and what I have read so far, there's no obligation on the part of the developer of this property to pay for the use of either the streets or the entrance to the subdivision. Now, that's not saying that something can't be worked out, but as I read it right currently, there's no obligation to do so.
So not obligated to pay to play.
I beg your pardon?
There's no obligation to pay to play. I hope you get where I'm going, and I'm a homeowner in this subdivision, and I'm trying to figure out if I even should recuse myself of this, but I'm so far in this conversation now because I have a direct interest as a homeowner. But you're getting the amenities of the guard and the gates and the maintenance of the gates and everything else with no perceived obligation to help participate in paying for those amenities at the front gate. You're asking to attach to the water systems the very development and the people who bought the lots put in, dedicated over the city, albeit. But you're asking to count on those, once again, without possible consideration. That draws a little bit of concern as a homeowner. I am going to recuse myself since I've spoke up too much now. I didn't know I was going this direction because I thought I was all for this. I thought it was going to be part of the subdivision and inclusive of the subdivision, much like what just was approved on the north side. Now I'm so far in it finding out the information, it creates a problem for me because I've done spoke too much. So I don't know which way to go on this, but as a homeowner, I got a problem with it. You're getting an amenity and you're not paying for it. Or at least we don't know you are. We don't know that you're going to participate. So, I don't know. I'll defer, and I will not speak again.
All right, Mr. Remedies?
Okay. I was just going to say, I think for the best course of action, in my opinion, is to just allow it to move forward. And if it's that objectionable to the homeowner association, they can litigate or mediate or whatever the case may be. But I don't think that what the powers that we have will allow us to require them to pay for it. So we can just move it on, and if it's a sense of there's a tension there, they can move it forward through the courts. Yeah. I just don't want to overreach, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's nothing else. We don't have a motion on the floor.
There's the
Is
Have a
there any
motion?
steps?
Yeah,
With the
with the stipulation.
With the stipulation.
We have a motion to approve with stipulations by Ms. De Motu, a second by Mr. Andrews. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, no. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, please note that I did abstain on that.
One
vote.
abstention. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Our next case is case number 20, agenda item number 21, case number P-3-17. Is there someone here to speak on behalf of the applicant?
Good afternoon. Ricky Wood with Polaris Services, 3602 North Market Street, Shreveport 71107. I'm here representing the owner to request that this property zoned RA be rezoned to RMHS as a mobile home subdivision. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? All right.
Ricky
State your
Wood.
name again. Thank you, sir. No questions. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak in favor of this application? Thank you. Anyone here who would like to speak in opposition to this application? All right, seeing none.
Mr. Chair, motion approved.
second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young, a second by Mrs. Smith. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, no. Thank you. It is approved. Next case is agenda item 22, case number SP-22-17 for preliminary and final plat. Yes, sir.
Again, Ricky Wood, Polaris Services, 3602 North Market Street, Shreveport 71107. Requesting the approval of this 15-lot residential mobile home subdivision to be approved, understanding that it does have Caddo Commission issues subject to their approval. Any questions?
Any questions? None. Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? All right.
Motion approved.
I have a motion by Mr. Remedies, a second by Dr. Pennywell to approve. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, no. It's approved unanimously. Next case, agenda item number 23, case number C-12-17, a zoning request. Is anyone here to speak in favor of this application? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, I'm Alan Dyson, 732 Robinson Place, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71104. I'm here to speak on behalf of Home Federal Bank and answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Thank you. No questions at this point. Is there anyone else who's here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? Seeing none. Got a motion to approve by Mr. Remedies, a second by Mr. Andrews. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, no. Item is approved. Our next case is case number C-13-17, zoning request.
Andy Craig, Moore and Associates, 1324 North Hearn, Suite 301, 71107, Shreveport. This is a rezoning case for commercial subdivision planned at the southwest corner of Pines Road and Greenwood Road. The subdivision plat for this project was on the consent agenda, case number 7. To let you know that we've connected cases there. But there's 3 small commercial lots. They're getting rezoned for commercial development. So I'm glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Mr. Andrews?
Mr. Craig?
Yes, Mr. Mayor of West Shreveport.
Just because you guys moved away into bigger and better things. My colleagues and I would love to have a steak place. We can only handle so many fried chicken places. Pines and Greenwood Road.
Well, the real estate agent is here if you want to talk about buying a lot to build your steak place.
Now, we can have that discussion.
Right now, that's, as far as I know, that's all they've been approached for is the chicken place. The Zaxby's possibly going there.
Getting closer and closer to my house. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Craig. Anybody else here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here to speak in opposition? All right.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Desmartu, a second by Ms. Smith to approve. All in favor vote yes, all opposed no. This application is approved. Thank you. Our next case is case number C-14-17. It's a zoning request. Someone here to speak in favor of this application?
I'm Joe Walker, 1543 Grimmett Drive, Shreveport 71107. I'm here to speak in favor of the request to rezone this property from R3 to B2.
Any questions of the applicant?
I would just like for him to tell us something what you're doing.
Hi, I'm Janice Antoine, 9409 Pierre Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71118. I'm a current owner in that subdivision. I have a daycare there now, and so I wanted to do an expansion and have it available if I needed it. It's just a vacant lot with wood.
Okay. How many children are there now? And how many teachers or teachers' assistants? Tell us something about it.
Okay, I have a daycare that holds 106 right next door to the vacant lot. I have about 50 children there now. I have about 8 staff members, and I'm actually going to hire 3 more because we're expanding so fast. And the vacant lot that I'm trying to buy to be able to expand is right next door, and it's been there since I've been there since 2009.
And how many in a classroom, if I'm not asking too much?
It depends on the ages. For babies 0 to 12, it's 5. From 1 at 1 year old, it's 7. At 2 year olds, it's 11. 3 year olds is 15. And anything after 6, you can have up to 17. And so with that many, I have a 5,000 square foot building. But in the summer, we get kind of hectic. And so that was my reason to try to get an after-school program on the other side. So the 6-year-olds up, and I go up to 15. So the 6-year-olds to the 12-year-olds or to the 15s, I can put them in another building.
All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of this application or support this application? Not, is there anyone here who is here to speak in opposition to this application? All right?
Motion to
No.
approve?
Just want to make it clear that in this situation, we spoke with the applicant, and they agreed to take the zoning down to B1 with a use approval for the daycare.
Right.
Just as clarification.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Remedies, a second by Ms. Dave Martu for approval of this application. All in favor vote yes, opposed no. Thank you. We passed.
Voted.
Okay, all right. Thank you, it is approved. Our final case on this agenda is case number C-15-17. It's a zoning request and use approval. City of Shreveport Department of Community Development. Anyone here to speak on behalf of this application?
Good evening, my name is Manzetta Moore. I reside at 2749 Willage.
You speaking in favor of this?
For the case,
Are you in favor of it or opposed to it?
zoning and abuse of approval.
She's not the applicant, right.
Okay.
I wanted to get a representative from the applicant who was actually applied. And it's someone, that would be someone from the City of Shreveport Community Development. Ms. Higginbotham?
This lady right here.
Right here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Candace Higginbotham. I'm representing Community Development Director Bonnie Moore for this application. I believe that you have extensive information on this project. It is for use of the property that you previously, thank you, approved for the replat of the lots into one at on the corner of Milam and Christian Street. This is city-owned property that was acquired back in 2002. At the time, the thought was it would be used for VOA to do a senior housing development, but that did not develop because it's a very competitive grant process, and that was not successful. So this project came out of our community planning process, back out of our Choice Neighborhoods Planning Grant. We realized with feedback from the community that there were a lot of entrepreneurs in the neighborhood who were doing catering but who lacked access to a commercial kitchen, could not get licensed in order to be more successful with their businesses, as well as needed additional business training and technical assistance in order to be successful. This project is made possible by a very competitive grant, which the city it was announced by HUD in July 2016, after which we went through a planning process for about 4 months of vetting different projects that were in our transformation plan. And this was the one that was selected by HUD and approved by HUD. We received notification of that on December the 9th and had this development application in by the deadline of December the 13th. It is for a kitchen incubator, which is a small business development, micro business development facility. It will also operate in conjunction with and operate by Southern University, which has operated 2 successful micro business, small business development centers, and also has operated culinary arts programs. We also have a partner with the Martin Luther King Health Center as our health and wellness partner in our initiative, who has a relationship with the Tulane University Culinary Medicine Teaching Facility, which is a Phase 2 portion of the project. I believe everything is fairly well covered here in the staff report. We've asked for B3 zoning with permission to do reception events, because that's part of the overall curriculum, to allow entrepreneurs to cater receptions, birthdays, on which is probably a fairly small scale. It's compatible with the zoning that this area will have and the proposed UDC. The reception provision is because of the opportunity for the entrepreneurs to earn income through use of the facility and the shared commercial kitchen that will be provided. We were only one of 2 cities in the country that received this $1 million grant for implementation of an action activity project for a community improvement project under these resources. And we're the only one who has actually already completed a planning grant process. And we're very pleased to be offering you this project, which has had high priority among our partners and our residents in the community, as well as the stakeholders, businesses. It's compatible with the overall plan for Shreveport Common, which is also a part of our target area. And we're very excited about the possibilities.
Good. Thank you. Questions, Mr. Colvin?
Yeah, just a couple of questions, I guess. The grant was made in July 2016, so you've already got the money for this, right?
It was announced
Okay.
in July. The contract was signed in September.
Okay.
There is a process that you have to go to in order to select the project. We received notification from HUD of that decision on December the 9th, and we submitted this development application on December the 13th to meet your deadline.
So you've got the money in hand.
Yes, sir, we do. We have a signed contract.
When will the first shovel groundbreaking happen? When will they start building on it?
We are looking at May. I have the architect here, iArchitecture,
Okay.
as well as, of course, representatives from Southern University,
Right.
the Martin Luther King Health Center.
But it's catering for profit. The people that come in the incubator, they can do catering for anybody. So most of the catering will be cooked there and taken to other places?
Or it can be served there in the event
I
facility.
understand. But if it's not an event, it's going to go somewhere else, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you've looked at the geographic area, and that's the best place to pinpoint to go to catering spots around Caddo Parish?
It's not necessarily, sir, around Cattle Parish. We're trying to stimulate economic activity in the neighborhood.
Okay.
As well as it's compatible with the efforts to stimulate economic activity in Shreveport Common.
Okay, I got you.
We've done extensive research on kitchen incubators around the country, including 2 in South Louisiana. One is with the LSU Agricultural Center. The other is with Liberty Kitchen and the Tulane University Kitchen Incubator Culinary Medicine Center. There's also one in Louisville, Kentucky, which has been highly successful. This is micro-business development primarily.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. We'll go down this road one more time. We have a lot of discussions around event centers, hours of operation, noise, and alcohol. What would be the hours of operation? Outside catering.
Of course.
And alcohol.
There wouldn't be any outside catering at this. The only people who can use the kitchen are people who are...
But if they have the event there, they're going to be able to go outside and eat under tents, or is it all inside?
No, sir, it's primarily inside. The design has a small space, covered patio space during the operation of the kitchen incubator, where people are actually in classes producing meals, which may be, say, lunch. People can come in, pick it up and go, or they can sit out in this small area and have their lunch. It's not intended for tents or anything of that nature.
Hours of operation?
Hours of operation, technically, of course, we're asking for that of what's allowed in the B3 designation. However, we don't anticipate that this would be up to the allowable maximum time of midnight. We are considering this to be more of a 8 to 10 possibly.
But no alcohol, right?
I'm not aware of any intent to purchase an alcohol permit.
Mark, you didn't put a time on your report here. what does the staff say as far as time? 10 o'clock, midnight?
No, under B3, you can go up to 12 to midnight. It's already given under the current, under the...
Thank you, ma'am.
This is primarily a vocational training facility, however.
Smith?
Yes. I like the idea. I think it's fantastic what you all are trying to do, but Mark just answered the hours of operation, and it can go up to 12. Am I correct if it's a reception?
Under a B3 designation, that is allowed, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're talking about the corner of course, Christian Street at Milam Street, the end of
I'm
the cemetery.
familiar with that area. If I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
correct, it's a graveyard right in there?
Yes, ma'am, it's the end of the graveyard.
Okay, and I know that you have partnership with all of the citizens, and they know what you're doing.
Yes,
I
ma'am,
heard you say
and
about
some of them are here.
stakeholders and all of that good stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This was the project that both a cross-sector strategy team from different areas of expertise ranked highest, as well as the community advisory body also ranked highest. It was their #1 priority for use of these funds, both of them.
I may be off of the subject a little, and I know I am. I wish Bunny was here because we have, I'm concerned about Stony Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
We have so many projects that they have started, it's supposed to be implemented. And when I see projects like this, it's sort of disturbing to me because we have phase 2 of Concordia Place that's been there for over 4 years or 5 years. And they just started on something like what you're talking about, LSU. It was a house move there on Martha Street. And they just started working on that, and it's sort of similar to what you're talking about. The
Actually,
garden
no,
and all
ma'am,
of that.
that's a nutrition center that's
Exactly.
in combination with the LSU Ag Center and Dr. Peterson.
Exactly. But I appreciate all of the good things that you all are doing. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Mr. Andrews?
I just wanted to make a brief comment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm excited about the work that you're talking about doing, and I've read the fine print. I just wanted you to expound just a little bit on the role that culinary medicine will play in training people in that area. for our community.
This is an adjunct of the project. It is something that developed out of the New Orleans model that we have looked at. Because there are higher rates of chronic diseases in the neighborhood, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and it's, of course, many times tied to eating. It's also a food desert, which means our market studies have shown that most residents go either to the Brookshires on Kings Highway or the Brookshires on North Market in order to do their grocery shopping. This is an initiative that was pioneered out of the Tulane School of Medicine. And I have Janet Mentasani, the executive director of the Martin Luther King Health Center, who's our health and wellness partner for this project here, if you would like further information on it. It has several elements, of which includes teaching medical students on preparing healthy foods so they can advise their patients on preventative medicine. It also provides training to volunteers and students who then teach neighborhood residents on healthy cooking techniques, general nutrition education, and tips on nutrition. If you like, I can.
You've done basically what I've asked. I think my concern is that if you turn on your television now, any channel you turn on, somebody is cooking something.
Yes, sir.
Either fast food, fried, fair food, whatever. This excites me to know that somewhere along the way, somebody's going to get trained not only to how to fix a meal, but prepare a meal for somebody that is a diabetic or somebody that has extreme high blood pressure or other illnesses that would require a specific kind of diet. And I think this is going to be a really good.
We're very excited about this possibility.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Remedies?
I had this similar question that she answered about about the medicine, culinary medicine, but I just wanted to say that this to me is the epitome of what the government, the federal grants used for to bring back a neighborhood and to help a community for generations. You know, we're training, not just let them line up and get a meal. We are, although those are necessary in some cases, but we are teaching people to take care of themselves, start businesses, which has a trickle effect. They hire people. So I can't think of a better use for the space than somewhere to invest in our community and in our people to help themselves for a long time. So
Thank you, sir.
That's all the comments I have.
Yeah.
I just want to piggyback off of them. I want to commend you for getting that grant and your team. Being in the healthcare business myself, I think it's not only teaching jobs, but teaching healthier ways and ways to eat and live. I think it's commendable, and congratulations.
Thank you.
If no other questions, anyone else here to speak in favor of this application? Thank you. Anyone in opposition?
In favor?
In favor.
In favor?
Was she in favor?
Still two people who are in favor, who want to speak in favor of this application? Must be in opposition.
Well, you can hear me or not, Ken? All right. I'm Glennie Rutherford, and I live at 2749 Willie Street. But I am an heir of the 1200, one of the slots on the 1200 block of Mile of the street. And so I received a letter, and I wanted to come and see what the concern of it was. I have the letter that you all sent me. I'm just one of them. Of the heirs of that corner that the lady just spoke about. I think she is on that corner of 1200 by block of Milan and Christian. I'm one of the heirs of it.
All right. So you've gotten a letter about what's going on, and that's what the conversation was just about, what they're doing on the corner. You're in proximity to what they're doing. Your property is close to where they are.
Joining that.
Yeah. So you have a understanding now that they're putting together a kitchen incubator that'll teach people how to begin a business and catering and those kind of things, and that'll be at the corner of Christian and Milam, next to the cemetery. And that's what they're actually doing. So that's what the letter was about.
So okay. So all right. So who is this? Who is doing it? The city is doing it.
Yes, ma'am. The city.
All right. Will I receive anything else from you all concerning the vet?
I think you'll get. Is there anything else we receive? I don't think there's anything else that we'll be sending from this body.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That's what I came to see about.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I make a comment too?
Yes.
This, ma'am? Ma'am? I had a question for you. Or I had a comment. I was just going to say, when you get that letter, if you get a letter like that in the future, you can always call the staff and they're happy to answer. They'll tell you everything that they know about so I hate for you to come sit through a meeting and spend your afternoon in here. I'm sure you got better things to do. Yes, ma'am. So there's a letter on there. I mean, there's a phone number on that letter, and the staff's always willing to answer any questions. They'll tell you everything that they know about the case, okay? So if you get another one, you can just save your trip. Yes, ma'am. But you're welcome to come back.
No, it kind of bothers me. I'm 93 years old. I can't hardly move about.
Yes, ma'am.
But I mean, thank you all for telling me. So the next time I'll call.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming. Anyone else here to speak in favor of the application?
Good evening.
My name is Deborah Seamster, and I am a resident of the Allendale area. I'm president of the Allendale Lakeside Levitt Heights Neighborhood Association, and I'm also on the Choice Neighborhoods Advisory Committee, and have been going over the last few years along with the selection of what we were going to do and how we were going to do it and all of that. And just want to say that I am in favor of this. This is something that we've looked at a lot of different things on what to do as far as food service for the neighborhood. And so I am in favor of it.
Ms. Seamster, for the record, could you state your address, please?
My address is 1417 Madison Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71103.
Thank you. All right. No questions. Those who are here to speak in opposition to this application.
Mr. Chairman, members of the MPC, my name is Steve Ramsey. I own two of the historic properties on Austin Place, less than a block from this project. At this point, I'm neither opposed or a proponent of the project. The notice was short. I really don't understand the concept. I think this lady will meet with me to fill in some of the blanks. I can't see very well, so meeting with you people today is a little difficult for me, but the property owners, several of us are here. We have invested large sums in restoring historic buildings. I own two of them. I've lived on Austin Place now for over 40 years, my primary residence. So, welcome activity. I really welcome activity if it's done right. If this proposed building fits into the fabric of the neighborhood, I'll welcome it. If it's a metal building and you give them landscaping variances like you did with the ESCO building on Texas, it's not going to fit. It's not going to be complementary to what we spent our money on. So I need more information. Do I understand that I can come to an MPC staffer and get that information?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You can.
yes, sir, you can.
Are there architectural renderings at the staff?
They haven't done a site. Go ahead. Mr.
The applicant has not submitted a site plan yet, and when they do, they'll submit also elevation drawings, so you'll get a better idea of what the building will look like. So feel free to contact us, and when they have submitted their application, because they haven't done it yet, and you're welcome to come and look at what they have.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else here to speak in opposition?
I'm Vicki LeBrun, 725 Austin Place, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I, too, live in one of the historical homes on Austin Place. We've lived in the Logan Mansion for the past 12 years, done extensive renovation. I mean, that's been our life for 12 years. I don't say that I am against this project. I just don't know enough about it. Particularly interested in what is the building going to look like. Now, you say you're going to get the drawings, but will the project already be approved by then, or?
I was as an approval for zoning and for use approval, not a site plan at this point. So it's just about zoning and use approval.
Okay, but I would be very interested to see what type of building. So am I to understand this as basically a